Hi guys, Grace Rosa here, and for the last few weeks I've been talking to friends and family and kind of sharing things on Facebook as well about my journey with preventive um, double mastectomy, which is taking place tomorrow, finally. And a couple things have really stood out to me in the last few weeks, some things that people have said and some assumptions that have been made by friends, family, and even doctors that I feel it's very important to talk about some of these things because it may be able to help someone else. Hi, Andrea. So the first thing that I want to address is that this is not elective. So the part where I'm getting breast implants, that part is elective. The mastectomy portion, the removal of my breasts, is preventive. No one is going to have an elective mastectomy. They're only going to have a mastectomy if they feel that the benefit outweighs the risk. So that means their genetic predisposition outweighs, the risk of this major surgery. So, if you know someone who is electing to have a preventive mastectomy, please don't treat them like they're just having a boob job. Like a lot of people have been like, oh, well, how big are you going to go? And they start talking to me about my body, and it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, and it's not the point. It's, in my opinion, my choice, and trust me, if I didn't have an elevated risk of breast cancer and wanted to have larger breasts, I would, and I wouldn't be discussing it with anyone. I would just act like I was taking a vacation, but this whole process has brought light to the fact that my body will be changing, and the reason that I'm being public about it is that I want people to feel empowered if this is something they choose to do. So there's a few kind of myths and misconceptions that have happened. So that's probably the most, I think, just in the true sense of the word, I think it comes from a good place. And I think that it's not intended to be offensive. But if you know someone who's going through a preventive mastectomy, don't just talk about their new big boobs. That's very insensitive. Number two, I don't have BRCA. The media and the internet and everything, everyone around you says, oh, BRCA, BRCA, BRCA this, BRCA that, blah, 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 blah. Well, there are multiple genetic mutations, and many of them, the doctors don't even know what they mean yet. So just because you're not BRCA positive doesn't mean you don't have an elevated risk of breast cancer. And this is very, very important. So I want to share with you what my family history is, which has led me to make this decision for myself. So on my mother's side of the family, my mom is 52 or 53, and she was one of four children in her family. Her sister died of cancer and battled with breast, and I'm not sure if she had ovarian as well, but breast cancer for many years and a lot of different kinds of cancers. And her two brothers died within a year or two of each other of a genetic brain cancer. Her mom died at 42 of ovarian cancer, and she is the oldest person in her family that I know of. So her entire immediate family has passed from genetic cancers. They do have the BRCA gene. However, so my mom's sister, my Aunt Georgia, who passed from breast cancer, she has three daughters. Of her three daughters, my first cousins, two had preventive mastectomies. Of the three, the one that did not have BRCA, so of the three, two were BRCA positive. The one that did not have BRCA had breast cancer. So it is so rampant that with or without the gene, my risk factor is still at 46%. And then there's also some breast cancer. It's not as prevalent on my dad's side, but there's a little bit there that bumps up my risk as well. So there are different ways to evaluate your risk besides are you BRCA or not? And sometimes you have to look beyond that. So after I had my first daughter, and this is where I get into too much information. So if you don't want to know that much detail about me or my symptoms or my life, I completely understand if you don't want to listen any further. After I had my first daughter, I was unable to breastfeed. It was very devastating for me, and I didn't really understand why. I still don't really know why I don't have answers, but I do have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, so it could have been thyroid disease, who knows. After I had my second daughter, I did get breast milk. I was only able to breastfeed, well, I chose to breastfeed for about a month. I wanted to breastfeed her longer, but it was so difficult with running my business and everything that I made that decision that I regret a lot. So I'm not looking to be shamed for that. But, after I had her, my right breast never completely stopped leaking. And at one point I got really paranoid because I started researching, like, why is this happening? This doesn't make sense. My hormones are normal at this point. So I went in for blood work because I started Googling, and it said that online, it said that I could have a pituitary tumor, and like brain tumor doesn't sound fun. So I went in and ruled that out. My blood work came back normal. And then, I started Googling more, and there's really early signs of DCIS that can be a symptom of early signs of DCIS, which is a really, really, really early form of breast cancer. And sometimes even before breast cancer is detectable on an MRI or in a mammogram, actually MRIs in DCIS catch about 80% of breast cancer. So there's still a 20% chance that I could have a really early form of breast cancer. I probably don't because my MRI did come back clean. That means 80% when I go in for surgery tomorrow will come out and I won't have had cancer. There's a very slight chance that my pathology could come back, just like in one of my cousins, and it could have been early breast cancer. And there's, whether it is or whether it isn't, it doesn't matter because I'm doing whatever I can to mitigate my risk. Now, ovarian cancer is also very prevalent in my family. So I will try to find a doctor who will look at my genetic testing and my results and see what the next steps are. What was I going to say about that? It's hard because, so I do have a genetic mutation, and I was looking up the name of the different mutations so I could remember what it was called. But it says that they don't really, my genetic counselor told me, we don't really know what this particular mutation means yet. So it's not officially linked to anything. But when my uncles were dying, they did blood work on my uncles. And so I still have to put the pieces of the puzzle together. I still have to see if my uncles who died of brain cancer had the same genetic mutation that I have, because that will connect some dots for me. And my mom, I think, also has a specific genetic mutation that isn't BRCA. So it's not BRCA. I don't have BRCA. I have a different one that they don't really know a whole lot about yet. And you know what? I don't really want to be the one that goes, by the way, that mutation, it does cause breast cancer. Oh, that's why everyone in your family is dead. So, and I know that sounds really, really harsh, but when you watch the people that you love just pass away like that from aggressive cancers, you really want to just mitigate your risk. So that's what I'm doing. So the next time someone says to me, oh, good for you, you're going to get new boobs. It's like, yeah, I could have done that anyways without the whole mastectomy part of it. And no, that's not why I'm doing this. But that's just, I think, people trying to help make light of the situation. And really, I'm really, truly not stressed at all. anymore. I stressed for a couple weeks while I was trying to get my head right and run my business and train new employees and spend quality time with the kids. I was just juggling a lot. But quite honestly, I am not stressed for tomorrow. I am completely ready. I will tell you the process. So I promised I would share this information earlier, and I'm happy to share it now. Yeah, Andrea, I'm not stressed at all. I've been smelling those flowers you sent me. They're so beautiful. Thank you so much. I am not stressed at all. I am very relaxed. I'm very prepared. I have everything I could possibly need, and I have a ridiculous amount of support. And this is in my mind, it's no bigger of a deal than like one of my C-sections. So there's just no baby at the end of it, which would be nice. But anyways, so tomorrow, I'm going in. I have to be there at 6 a.m. I really don't want anyone there with me. My husband's going to be there with me, but I don't really want like my parents and everybody there. Like I don't want them to be worried about me. Like they'll just get a call around lunchtime that everything's fine. So yeah, Bridget, I'm very relaxed because of you, because of hypnotherapy. Seriously, amazing. And I have been listening to my recording, and it's amazing. Can't even begin to explain that process. So tomorrow when I go in at 6, I'm sure they'll have me like sign over all my rights to my husband that he can like pull the plug if something happens. Stuff that's supposed to be scary, but I'm telling you, I'm really not stressed. And I won't be tomorrow either, because I don't want my parents there worried about me, and I just want to just go in and get it done, and then I'll heal. They will be making incisions under my breast. It is a nipple-sparing mastectomy. I told you I'm going to share the details. My breast surgeons, I have 2. I have one that's more experienced, and then the other one is actually the one that I found, and I have full trust in them. They will be lifting like from underneath my breast, and they'll be accessing all the breast tissue, removing as much of it as they can, leaving just the skin. And they are not actually going to be detaching the muscle or messing with the muscle at all. So the process that I'm having is called pre-pectoral reconstructive nipple-sparing mastectomy with immediate reconstructive surgery. Excuse me. So they will lift the skin, remove all the breast tissue. At that point in time, they'll kill a lot of the nerve endings and things. And they're also going to do something that's really super interesting, where they light up a certain vein right here so that they don't cut it. And they're doing a study to see if they preserve that vein, how that helps with the like, I think sensation or something, or the nerves coming back after. So pretty advanced stuff, which is pretty cool. I signed off on that. I was like, yeah, sign me up for that. And then they will, they're going to use Alloderm. So they'll take, not the implant at this point in time, but they will take the, nerve regeneration, Andrea. I think that's what they're trying to do. So they will take the expander, which is really just like a little balloon with a little metal piece in it so that they can find where the port is. And they'll put they'll wrap the expander. Can you tell I asked a million questions? I asked these poor doctors a million questions. They will wrap the expander in Alloderm. Alloderm is made of human skin or fascial tissue or something. It's made of cadaver. And it actually will be, secured to my muscle. So I'll have probably 10 to 15 stitches attaching the little Alloderm wrapped expander. So then the Alloderm will be then sewn to my pectoral muscle. So instead of cutting open my pectoral muscle and putting the implant behind it, they're going to be placing the expander. They're going to be wrapping the expander in Alloderm and attaching it above the muscle. And then just sewing me back up. So when I get out of surgery, they said it's going to look really super gruesome, but that's to be expected. I don't think it's actually going to be that bad, but that's just me being positive. And then a couple weeks later, I'll go in and they'll start doing fills. So fills are what is going to expand my skin because I no longer have breast tissue there anymore. So as the incision underneath my breast heals, then they will start expanding the expanders. And so that's how I'm going to have the ability to have implants after the mastectomy. I don't really understand why they can't put implants in, and instead of filling it with air, they just fill it, but that's not how they do it. And I have, they chose, I think my plastic surgeon wants to use teardrop shaped silicone, not saline implants, because I think they look a little bit more natural when they're placed without any breast tissue. So I'll go in every 1 to 2 weeks, and they're actually going to be filling my expanders with air. And a lot of what I've watched on YouTube is women feeling like the expanders are so heavy and uncomfortable, whatever. So they're going to be filling it with air, which I think sounds better than when they fill it with saline. So anyways, they're going to be, I call them the balloons. They're going to be filling up the balloons every 1 to 2 weeks. Until I reach the size that I'm comfortable at, that I want to keep. So I get to kind of pick my breast size, which that's pretty cool. And that's, by the way, me being positive. And then in early August, I'll go in and they will do a second surgery where they will replace the expanders with implants. So the implants will be fitted into the alloderm. The alloderm's cool because it integrates, yep, the silver lining, Andrea, the alloderm integrates with your actual body. So if you were to actually test that later on, they, like after I died or something, they wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the actual human tissue and the alloderm. It like kind of is live tissue in your body, which is super interesting to me. So when I get out of surgery tomorrow, I'll have 4 drains. I'll have a drain coming out of the top and the bottom of each breast. And I've heard the drains are just like kind of the worst part, but I'm going to heal super fast, you guys. I just already know it. I've got such a good positive feeling about all of this. And so I'll have drains in for 1 to 2 weeks, and then I'll have the drains removed. They're just attached by a stitch, so they're a little bit uncomfortable. I've heard people tell me to get extra pillows. So the drains are actually suction-based drains. So they actually, you squeeze them, and then they use suction to kind of pull out the bloody like discharge from the surgery, so that it helps with swelling and healing. It helps things to get better faster, I believe. So we have to empty the drains every so often and measure the output. And once I have 30 milliliters or less of like drainage, I guess, then they'll take the drains out, which I think people get really excited when the drains come out. And then I'll just continue to go in every 1 to 2 weeks based on my pain levels and have fills. And then from there, in early August, I'll get implants placed. So yeah, I mean, the expanders don't look like breasts. They look creepy. If you look them up on Google or whatever, they look kind of creepy, but it's temporary, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so that's everything I know about the procedure, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow after surgery and just give an update. I probably just have some Amazon shipment coming in. Oh, really excited. One of my friends sent me a something her sister, who's a breast cancer survivor, had. It basically is a way to shower with the drains in. And so it's made out of like scuba material, and you just kind of Velcro it on. And I'm probably not going to be in a big rush to do anything for the first few days. I'll be at the hospital, but after that, it'll be all good. So, yeah. So anyways, I will check in with you guys tomorrow, and if anyone has any questions about anything, let me know. My main focus after surgery is going to be sleep, hydration, and healing. I have company? Okay, I'll be right down. Who is it? Someone you don't know. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great night, And thank you so much for your love and support. And if you know of someone who's going through this or will be going through it, or if you're thinking, you know what, yeah, I have lost a lot of family members to breast cancer, it might be something to really seriously evaluate. And something else for me to mention is my family members who passed very young. Like, you know, I never met them because a lot of them passed super young. So there is, for me, a sense of urgency. And so for people questioning my timing, I'm very confident in that decision as well. So thanks, guys. Love you so much. Have a great night. Love you too, Jody. Thank you, Shelly. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Trish. You guys are just amazing. I've got the most supportive friends in the world. And I truly, honestly hope that my journey helps and inspires somebody to you know, not just worry about early detection, but prevention is even better than early detection if it's an option for you. So thanks, guys. Have a great night. Bye.